that skill of comparing and contrasting. But let's think about like some snacks that you guys get during like snack time. So some like popular snacks that you get, I've noticed, are like maybe sometimes bananas, not often, but sometimes. Bananas, and a lot of time we get oranges, right?
Yeah.
So take a moment to think about, how are bananas and oranges, how are those two snacks similar and different? And when you're thinking about how they're similar or different, I want you to go ahead and use these sentence frames. One sentence frame that you might need to use is and are different because if you're focusing on their difference, you're focusing on contrasting. However, you might want to say and are similar because. So when you're focusing on how they're the same or how they're similar, you might need, that means you are comparing. So go ahead and think back, or go ahead and think about bananas and oranges. How are they similar? How are they different? When you have some thinking to share, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. See, Julie has a silent thumbs up, so does Casey. You're going to turn and talk and share those using these sentence frames with your neighbors. Me to me.
I want.
Turn and talk. Your partner, okay? Next time you're going to talk, you need to be talking with your partner. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, maybe 2 volunteers. Go ahead and use these sentence frames of comparing and contrasting 2 snacks that you guys have for snack. Julie.
Julie.
Alright, another scholar to share out a similarity or a difference between these snacks. Steve!
Steve! They're similar because they both have peels.
Yeah, can you go ahead and restate that with our sentence frame?
Oranges and bananas are similar because they both have peels.
Yeah, great job. They both have peels. Maybe one more. You're really doing a good job at using the sentence frames to help you say how they're similar and how they're different. Last one. Matthew.
Matthew! Bananas and oranges are different because they don't have the same colors.
Yeah, they are different because they do not have the same colors. Awesome. So you guys are doing a really good job at using the details to help you compare 2 or more things. So we're going to use that skill this week to help us not compare snacks. We're going to compare,
Pollinators.
you guessed it, pollinators. So I go, you go. Bees.
Bees.
Butterflies.
Butterflies.
Moths.
Moths.
Wasps.
Wasps.
Flies.
Flies.
Beetles.
Beetles.
So those are some pollinators that we kind of learned a little bit about, but these next few days, I want to really focus in on finding like some special like parts about them, or like how is their bodies different than another pollinator, and like why do they go to flowers? So if I have these questions that I'm thinking about, I can call those guiding questions. Go ahead and make sure that you're tracking the board and that you can look at all 3 guiding questions. These are the 3 questions that we're going to think about as we are looking at our text and as we are comparing and contrasting. Can I have a volunteer read the guiding question for number 1? Nice and loud. Go for it, Kevin. Good. As a team, ready, go.
How
are
pollinators' bodies different?
Think about that as we're looking at our text today and tomorrow. Can I have a volunteer read guiding question 2? Go for it, Adeline.
Why Why are pollinators attracted to flowers?
Good. As a team, ready, go.
Why are pollinators attracted to flowers?
So why are they going there? Why are they attracted to those flowers? And the third guiding question that you should have in your head as you're collecting evidence in our text is, go for it, Liam.
What makes each pollinator special?
Good. As a team, ready, go.
What makes each pollinator special?
Yeah, so we're really going to focus on those three guiding questions as we are reading our text. And we're going to be comparing and contrasting different pollinators this week. Let's go ahead and read our learning target then. I know you go. I can compare. And contrast. These butterflies. And moths. Using text evidence. And text features. From the text. What is pollination? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you remember this book? Do you remember this text? Showing you thinking. Ready, go.
Boom, boom, show me.
Yeah, you do remember this book. Yeah, a lot of good details were in this book. A lot of evidence that we can use and collect to help us out. So one thing that readers do is when they have all this evidence is that they sort it in a special way. And sometimes they might use a Venn diagram. Everyone say Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
Who's ever seen a Venn diagram before? Okay, hands down. So a Venn diagram is something that's really helpful because it is, Joseph, someone make sure you're sitting on your bottom so you can see the board, is that it helps us sort information. And the way a Venn diagram is the way we sort it is that in the middle of both circles is what two things have in common, or what they both have. So notice that these two circles overlap, right? Overlap means like on top of each other. So here's an overlap. So these two things, whatever we're comparing, let's say like oranges and bananas, what they both have in common, what I would put here is that they're both fruits. So fruit would go in the middle. This side of my Venn diagram is only about one topic. Maybe I might have this side be only about oranges. I might say oranges are orange. On this side of my Venn diagram, I have my other topic, which would be, let's say, bananas. Bananas are yellow. They are on opposite sides because they're different. So differences go on the outside. Similarities go on the inside. Got it?
Got it.
So we're going to use the Venn diagram today to help us sort our information that we're gathering. Joseph Sigmund and Joseph Sanchez. Make sure that you're focusing on the board so that you can do your best when you go back to your desk and try it yourself. So let's go ahead and let's practice reading a text to collect information, and then after that we'll go ahead and sort them. So when I'm thinking about, as I'm reading, is I'm thinking about how are pollinators' bodies different? Why are pollinators attracted to flowers? And what makes each pollinator special? So when I hear those answers to those questions, I'm gonna highlight. Got it?
Got it.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pass out a book so you and your partner can look along with me as I read a few pages. So I'm gonna give one each of you and your turn talk partner. So go ahead and you and your partner may share. Please make sure you're treating these gently. Have a seat and I'll give you your book. Once you get your book, go ahead and turn to page 16. What page?
16.
Uh-oh, what page?
16.
Go ahead and do that. Anayeli, give me a thumbs up when you and your partner are on page 16. Here you go. You're sharing with a partner. Oh, I know one of them is written. Here, take this one. Alright, looking for those thumbs up of folks who are on page 16. Ooh, I see a silent thumbs up from Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. I see a silent thumbs up from Neymar and Adeline and Matthew. I know that they're on page 16. Thanks, Delaney. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that support. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read pages 16 and 17. Ooh, make sure that your voices are off so you know what to do when you go back to your desk. So I'm going to read pages 16 and 17 and go ahead and gather or collect information that helps me answer those questions. I'm going to gather text evidence. So follow along as I read page 16. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Bees are best. There are thousands of kinds of bees, but the honeybee is the most important pollinator. Honeybees are social insects. Social insects live together in groups called colonies. Huh, I see some bolded words, Anayeli. That tells me that they're important. So I'm hearing that this is pretty interesting. This makes them pretty special. Is that honeybees are social insects and they live together in these groups called colonies. That's pretty special about them. I'm gonna highlight that detail. Each bee colony lives in a hive, which is its home. Bees collect nectar and pollen from flowers. Ooh, that's pretty interesting too, right? I know that nectar and pollen is found in flowers, so that's why they're going to those flowers. They're attracted to them because that's where the nectar and the pollen's at. Let me highlight that as well. They pollinate many kinds of fruit trees as well as vegetable plants. Oh, that's pretty special. Let me highlight that. They also make honey, which people eat. Ooh, let me highlight that as well, because that's pretty special about bees, that they make honey. Not all creatures do that. Go ahead and look at page 17 now. The bumblebees. The bumblebee is another kind of bee pollinator. There are about 250 species of bumblebees. Bumblebees have big, furry bodies. Oh, that tells me about their body. Let me go and highlight that. Bumblebees have big furry bodies. Like honeybees, these bees live in colonies of 150 to 200 bees. Bumblebees make their nests underground. That's pretty unique. Let me highlight that. I'm highlighting text evidence that helps me answer those guiding questions. That's pretty special, so I'm going to highlight that about bumblebees. Make sure you're sitting on your bottom. The tongues of some bumblebees are short and others are long. The long-tongued bumblebees are important pollinators of many plants such as beans, tomatoes, and clover. Ooh, so that means their bodies. The long-tongued bees are important pollinators. Let me go and highlight that. So what I did right now, scholars, is I went through my text and I highlighted evidence, highlighted details that helped me answer those questions. Let's look at what some of those details are. I go, you go. Social insects. That live in colonies. Collect nectar. And pollen from flowers. Pollinate fruit trees. And vegetable plants. Make honey. Let in turn your body so you can see what I'm talking about. Some have furry bodies. Some have long tongues. Some make nests underground. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that to the side for now. And then let me compare and contrast a bee and different pollinators. I'm going to compare and contrast butterflies and moths. So go ahead and turn to the next page, which is, I believe, 18 and 19, yes. Turn to pages 18 and 19 and let me do the exact same thing that I did on my last page. Give me a thumbs up if you're on page 18 and 19. Julie, make sure you're sitting up so you can see the book. All right. Let's turn to pages 18 and 19. Let me read and do the exact same thing with my highlighter, listening for text evidence. Butterflies and moths. Listen along as I read out loud. Butterflies and moths have long proboscises, or mouth parts, which can reach nectar and pollen inside flowers. Ooh, so that tells me about their, I see a bold word. I see a bold word, and I also see, I see some words that help, some details that help me talk about, oh, I hear some voices as I'm talking. Make sure that your voices are off, so you can hear what you'll be doing when you go back to your desk. Vladimir, can you hold it to yourself? And Joseph, just look from Vladimir's where he has it, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, so hold on to it, and that's awesome problem. So, butterflies and moths have long proboscises, or mouth parts, which can reach the nectar inside flowers. Let me go and highlight that. Because that talks about their body. Their mouth parts, that's part of their body. Butterflies like bright pink, purple, and blue flowers. That's why they're attracted to them. Let me highlight that as well. Some moths are good pollinators of flowers that bloom at night. Oh, so it sounds like moths like to go to flowers at night. So I'm gonna highlight that because that's why they're attracted, because of their of the nighttime. And they look for pale flowers with strong scents. Well, that means that they are really focused on flowers that smell really strong. Let me read this caption right here on the bottom. The hummingbird moth can pollinate flowers that are too thin and deep for other pollinators. Its long proboscis can reach the pollen deep inside them. Oh, so this hummingbird moth, I'm learning, can reach the pollen deep inside. All right, go ahead and turn to the next page.
Page 20.
Page 19 on the other side. Turn to page 19. This butterfly, Julie. This butterfly has landed on a pink flower. Ooh, I remember in the text it said that butterflies like bright pink flowers. Let me go ahead and highlight that. This photograph really tells me about, really shows me what I read in my text. It is using its long proboscis to sip the nectar. Its legs are covered with pollen. All right, so I did a really good job at highlighting my text evidence in the text. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this text evidence and I'm gonna sort it. I'm gonna use my Venn diagram to compare and contrast bees and butterflies and moths. So here is my text evidence that I found from my butterflies and moths. Got it?
Got it.
All right, go ahead and close your books. Who's ever the book holder, go ahead and make them disappear and make sure you're tracking forward in 5. Voices are off in 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Turn your bodies. I see that Julie's focusing on the front. I see Casey's eyes on the front. Jonathan's eyes are on the front. Thank you for your focus. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take those notes that I have and I'm going to use a Venn diagram. A what?
Venn diagram.
To help me sort my information into the right area. Again, the information, the details that both bees and butterflies and moths have in common is going to go in the middle. If it is a detail that only is about butterflies and moths, it goes on the side. If it's about bees, it goes on the other side. So I have all of these details right here that I'm going to need some help in a moment sorting. So they're all mixed up. I have to figure out where should they go using my Venn diagram. Are they similar? That's going to go in the middle. Is it a difference? That's going to go at the end, on the ends of each side of the circle.
Why is that not?
Ooh, thank you for those who are patiently waiting. I see some of us already reading these details, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and do the first example, and then I'm going to need some volunteers to come up and help me out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a detail, and I'm going to think about, does that detail belong in the middle of my Venn diagram? Because both bees and butterflies and moths have that in common? That's a similarity. Or is it going on the opposite sides? Because that's a difference. Not both of them have it. So let me do my first one. One detail says social insects that live in colonies. Well, I remember in my text that was only about bees. So that detail is only referring to bees that live in colonies because they're also very social. So I'm going to place that only on my bees circle because that isn't what they have in common. That's a difference. That's only going to go on my bees circle. Let me look for one more. Some have long tongues. Oh, well, I remember that in my reading of butterflies and moths and then of bees, that, yeah, bees have long tongues. Some of them do. I remember the bumblebee does. And then I remember butterflies and moths have like these long mouth parts, which help them collect pollen and slurp up nectar. So this is going to go in the middle, because this is something they have in common. Do we notice how some details belong on the opposite sides and some belong in the middle?
Yes.
Can we do one more? Like bright colored flowers. Oh, I remember that text evidence. I see some hands getting raised. Yeah, do you remember too? Which pollinator likes those?
Butterflies and
Butterflies and moths, yes. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to take a moment. You're going to take a moment and you're going to figure out what is a similarity or a difference between bees and butterflies and moths. What is a similarity or a difference between bees and butterflies and moths? And then where would that go? Where would that go on our Venn diagram? I have ones like make honey, pollinate flowers at night, collect nectar and pollen, make some nests underground, have long mouth parts, collect or get nectar, look for pale flowers and strong scents. What is a similarity or a difference between bees and butterflies and moths? And you're going to turn and talk with your partner and use these sentence frames again to help you share your thinking with a neighbor. Remember to say, where is it going to go? In the middle, or on the bee side, or on the butterflies and moth side? Got it?
Got it.
Need a knee?
Everyone.
Turn and talk. Did you hear that? That every pollinator makes honey, so you know that butterflies and moths make honey. Did you read that? That's a difference. So how would you say that? Using those sentence frames. Bees and butterflies and moths. Bees make and all right, I see some palm tents. 3, 2, 1. Have a volunteer come up and show us which detail goes where. Julie. Can you first read your sentence frame? Go ahead.
Bees and butterflies and moths are different because one makes honey.
Which one makes honey? So if only bees do it, where would it go? Where would that detail go in the Venn diagram? Yeah, can you come do it? Let's give Julie 3 power claps. Ready, go. All right, do you know where the make honey's detail is at? Okay, grab it and I'll grab it. I can go over here. Excuse me. Here you go. Looking for another student to come up and compare and contrast those two pollinators. And one more.